Hello, this is Julian with Coffee Reviews, and today we'll be recapping our reviews from the month of September 2023. This video will feature three things: a discussion of our favorite coffee this month, as well as any honorable mentions, our upcoming coffee of the month, and anything else pertaining to this channel that we feel is worth discussing or addressing. So let's go ahead and get started with our honorable mentions. And as always, these are in order of when we reviewed them on this channel. And first up, we have the Medina WX, the wash processed Colombia from Coffea Circular out of Arendal, Norway. And I definitely went into this coffee with some pretty high expectations, having heard so many positive things about the Astrid Medina coffees this year. Couple that with the fact that this is roasted by one of my favorite coffee roasters in the entire world, and it definitely set itself up for some very high expectations, only for this coffee to exceed those expectations by offering one of the most clean, vibrant, and fresh fruit forward coffees I had experienced this entire year. In addition to that, this coffee is an amazing value at €15, about $16 for a full 250 gram bag. I believe that's prompted a lot of people to purchase this coffee as well. And at the time of recording, this one is still available for anybody interested in purchasing it. Next up, we have the Finca Soledad, the Tioxidator Wash Processed Ecuador from Leuchtfeuer Coffee out of Wedel, Germany. And Pepe Hijón continues to strike sweet magic with his Tioxidator Wash Processed Típica Mejorado coffees, as this one is one of the sweetest coffees that we've ever reviewed on this channel, and it continues to go along the lines of the experiences I've had from these coffees from other coffee roasters by offering a very sugar-forward cup. Now, this one right here had something along the lines of a cotton candy descriptor on it, and for anybody that remembers my Pepe Hijón Tioxidator Wash Processed Ecuador review from Manhattan last year, might recall that I described that coffee as essentially being sugar at the bottom of a soda can. And this one right here goes along those lines as well, as it just offered a wildly sugar-forward coffee, basically sugar from start to finish, and towards the end, I continued to remain really impressed by just how much sweetness was present within this one, making it one of my favorite coffees that we've reviewed this entire year and continuing to demonstrate just how much I'm enjoying Pepe Hijón's coffees. This one is still available for purchase at the time of recording as well. This next one is not, but this one will also be familiar, as this is the Pepe Hijón Tioxidator Wash Processed Ecuador from Apollon's Gold, based out of Tokyo, Japan. And this is the exact same coffee that we had just discussed from a different coffee roaster. But this one right here, I would say, was very reminiscent, even more so, of last year's #1 first place finisher, the Tioxidator Wash Processed Ecuador from Manhattan Coffee Roasters, as I described this one as being maybe 90 to 95% of that exact same coffee, with the biggest nitpicking descriptions I had from it was that it may not have been necessarily quite as sweet or quite as brown candy forward. But even then, it still offered just tremendous sweetness. Again, one of the sweetest coffees that I've ever reviewed on this channel. And the biggest difference, and the only other difference I might have had, was that maybe this one felt a little bit more citric forward. But aside from that, they were two extraordinarily similar coffees. And given that that one I'd reviewed last year was one of my favorite coffees that we've ever featured on this channel, it won't come as a surprise that I very much enjoyed this one, as I do feel like Pepe Hijón can do no wrong with this incredible coffee, as this is another example of just how much I'm enjoying them and just how impressive they are. This one I don't believe is available for purchase any longer. It sold out pretty quick after it was available, and I think it was sold out before I even got an opportunity to try this one due to Apollon's Gold's long extended rest period. All right, and that leads us to my favorite coffee this month, and that one is the Deborah Terroir, the Wash Processed Panama from Coffea Circular out of Arendal, Norway. And this one right here won our blind taste test rankings video featuring those same Pepe Hijón coffees, as well as a number of other high-end Panamanian geishas and another Ecuadorian coffee. And this one right here set itself apart for an absolutely amazing clean base, as typically what makes coffee stand out is a couple of things. It can be just some unique sweetness, as indicated by those Pepe Hijón coffees, but typically what might make a coffee stand out the most is if it is offering just absolutely tremendous clarity to go along with a flavor profile that's in line with my own preferences, and that's what this coffee is right here, as this is one of those coffees where I might describe the clarity as being at a level 6 due to the Panamanian geisha component of it being just so wonderfully clean, offering this incredible base with a wonderful floral component to it. In addition to that, an amazing peachy quality did give this one a little bit more depth. Had some really nice complexity in general, but what will continue to set this one apart was a lot of those classic vintage Panamanian geisha-like characteristics. And I think that Coffea Circulor did an amazing job of accentuating a lot of those components with this one right here, leading it to be one of my favorite coffees I've reviewed this entire year. It is tricky. It is in the Panamanian category, so it's kind of funny that this coffee might not necessarily end up in the top 10 of our top 10 favorite coffees of the year list. Even though it's probably one of my 5 favorite coffees, it's just in competition with a bunch of other Panamanian coffees, while those Pepe Hijón coffees ironically might end up in that top 5, so we'll cross that path when we get there towards the end of the year. But as far as it goes this month, I think this one towards the end just stood out a little bit more than those Pepe Hijón coffees. Right. That leads us to this month's Coffee of the Month coffees, and I've actually picked 2 of them, and they're the same coffee. They're the Karamo, one roasted from Ilsa out of Stamford, Connecticut, and then the other one from Flower Child out of Oakland, California. And if people recall, then earlier this year, I did review a Karamo coffee. It was a natural process version of the Karamo, though, from Father's, and that still remains my favorite natural processed coffee that we've reviewed this entire year. And I've also heard a lot of positive things about the Karamo coffee in general, so I felt like it was a good opportunity to purchase and review a couple of them from a couple of, we'll say, well-liked coffee roasters in the United States. And a lot of people know that we come up with a poll every single month so that people can vote on which coffee will be our coffee of the month. And this one was just different because, well, at the time of recording, yeah, we're setting up for a trip to Japan, and when this video is being released, then I should be in Japan, funny enough. So I didn't feel that a poll would actually be worth it because it's entirely possible that the coffees weren't going to come by the time that I was in Japan, so it wouldn't give me an opportunity to review them in time. And as a result, I picked out these 2 coffees, which will both be reviewed before I actually get to Japan. So for anybody interested in purchasing these coffees, then at the time of recording, both of them are still available, and I do think that they will make for some interesting coffees, and it gives you an option of an East Coast version of it or a West Coast version of it. And again, Karamo's been really popular, so hopefully this is a good pick for you guys, as I didn't like skipping the Coffee of the Month poll. I actually very much enjoy doing the Coffee of the Month poll, but it should return next month so you guys can vote on a coffee that you want us to review. And that leads us to our final notes. Yes, when this video is being released, I should be in Japan. So once again, if you do have any suggestions for coffee roasters I should visit when out in Japan, then please let me know and I will do my best to accommodate that. The only other thing I wanted to mention was from our previous monthly recap, in which I discussed the grinder that we opted to purchase. We actually received some extremely positive feedback about our selection, and we also received some suggestions from some other people that I'm going to run by Jonathan before we actually finalize that purchase. The plan is to purchase that grinder when I do get back from Japan, so I'm just waiting on that. I wanted to do a couple of things. I wanted to give myself some time to get back from that, work on those things, focus on those things, and then also hear the feedback that I got from you guys and run it by a couple of people just to hear some overall thoughts. But it sounds like everything's a go. Everything's been pretty positive from what I've heard, so that seems to be the plan for now, and I'm definitely still interested to hear if you guys might have any other thoughts or opinions on the decision that we have made. Once again, it is the DF64 version 2, and we're going to be going with the SSP multi-purpose burrs as well. So once again, let me know on that. But that's pretty much all I have for this month, actually. Of course, we're going to update our suggestions, recommendations list and our frozen coffees list, so check those down at the bottom as well. But I'm actually going to leave this at that. If you guys are enjoying the content, give this video a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. This right here has been a recap of our reviews for the month of September 2023. Thank you for watching.